So I'm going to talk about running a open data common, a return of experience, but it seems like a bad translation, a too literal translation, but I hope you understand. Sharing our experience. So I will be a bit in storytelling mode, so some things might be completely accurate historically, but pardon me for this, but the pedagogy is more important. So, and sorry for my English, which is far from perfect. So, how it started. So, you're in supermarket, you have to choose between a lot of products, how to choose. Of course, there is the information, but it's hard to digest. So how can you choose fast? And that was what Stefan, to his surprise, saw that there was no database to compare products in 2012. And so he started this project. He started it with a model in mind, OpenStreetMap. He said, let's start crowdsourcing all this data. And so we start from scratch with open data, open source, with licenses that make sense. He has the luck that they already exist. And at the beginning, it started to talk to a lot of people, going in a lot of meetings and so on, and he saw that there were a lot of usage around food data that could be possible. And so it begins with a small but very active community with a very low budget. For 5 years and more, there were no employees for Open Food Facts, only volunteers, coders, but also contributors with a passion for food and for health. And yeah, and it grows, and at the end there were quite a lot of contributors, anonymous contributors, small contributors. And then when you start to build this kind of digital common, you see you have first ideas of impact you can have. For example, you have this data that grows, and you can make some analysis, try some usage, like Made Near Me, which tells you which products are produced near to you. But also, they have a challenge in mind at this time, which was health. And they tried to have a first impact by implementing something that was research, like the 5-color score or the NOVA. And the 5-color score, today you know it at the Nutri-Score. You know it at the Nutri-Score. And Open Food Facts was part of the story because they provide a database to help calibrate the Nutri-Score, because they bring it to a large public and make it actionable, and it fosters an ecosystem. And so there were a lot, when you begin to have a lot of data, there are also third-party applications that begins to appear, and some of them have success, and so it became more popular, and also appearance in primetime show helps to reach a larger audience. So now you are a digital common. It's official in some way, and so what it means. After some years, you have a clear mission. What is your mission? For Open Food Facts is to impact food, the impact of food on our health and on the planet, and it meets some of the sustainable development goals of UN. You have a clear vision, and one of this vision, for example, is what we call the virtuous circle of food transparency, which having more data, you have better usage, which enlighten the consumers. And this forces, or this encourage producers to have better products so that they can sell them. And this also makes people more engaged with food quality, and this makes more contributor to data, and so on. And so this database start to grow really steep, because also when you have more data, you have more usages, more value, more impact, more contributors, and so on. Last year, we reached 2.5 million products in the database, and it's still growing. We are near 3 million now. You have a lot of reusers, and some heavily rely on it. For example, we have a lot of mobile applications using our data. Some for people who have children, they want to feed their children, or vegans people, or people who have a religious-based diet. There are startups that rely on it also for their business model, for internal tools. You have researchers that start to use this database actively. And the spread in Europe of Nutri-Score, for example, also make it a more important database. So, and with that comes new challenge, because you still have a relatively small community which is behind the scene and struggles. There are always more solicitations to participate in various events, to create new projects, and managing data quality is a thing, and also technical debt is growing, and infrastructure is under pressure. So you try to consolidate. And so we had the chance at Open Food Facts that Santé Publique France, excuse me, begins to, as it identified that Open Food Facts plays an important role in Nutri-Score, thanks to EREN, the lab behind Nutri-Score. So they began to give money so that we can finance our first employees. Also, we won the Google Impact Challenge, which was a big prize, and thanks to the project notoriety, because we have proven our usefulness. And we also draw some red lines, like having no funding from agro-industry. And and you can see there is other players that help us in various ways, in funding, like NLNet, in intern, in hosting, and so on. And so you begin to grow a permanent team. So what we try to do is to make it at a controlled space, at a controlled pace, so that we don't grow too quickly and don't lose the spirit of the project. And also really mind the gap with the community, trying to really continue to be welcoming, to be helpful to the community, not to have a gap that grows. And oops. So also it gave us the opportunity to involve new actors, that is the producers. So we propose this producers platform where producers can play the game of transparency and contribute to transparency, giving their data. Some of them do this because they want to do this in a political manner, in internal, I would say, motivation. Some do it because they have an external motivation, is to have good photo on Open Food Facts, for example. But that's not important. What is important is that we get data from them, and they are playing the game. And also, we try to reach a larger public. Last year, we launched a new mobile app so that the mobile app can be more useful to many people and more easy to contribute. And we try to empower contribution, because you remember there is this small active community, so you can make this community more effective. By example, we structure data with a lot of taxonomies. We have passionate people working on taxonomies, that is structuring the data. We try to automatically identify errors. We use a lot of machine learning, for example, to recognize labels on photo and to extract a lot of information from images. And we have this community which really tries to help, reviews the data, code, of course, fix the data, and so on. So, and we see that being a larger team help also launch projects faster. For example, with the EcoScore, we say we have in 1 year we reached the goal we reached with Nutri-Score in 5 years. So that was really faster. Also making it with others actors, and so. But the road to maintaining this digital common is still ahead of us. So we try to keep a vibrant community. We meet at Open Food Facts Days, and you are welcome if you want to join. It will be in October, I think, this year. We try to really keep being welcoming. We value diversity, and there is a lot of diversity in the food. You can, and we try also to take the communities in to define the future of Open Food Facts. Because when you have a permanent team, one of the risks is that the permanent team, which is working all day long, may go faster than the community. So we try to really keep the pace with the community and we involve them, really listen to them. Right now, for example, we are doing something we are imagining the future of our mobile app, and we are doing this with the community in a participative way. You have to tame a bit complexity, so organize a bit things, split teams, have a real good onboarding process, and we are struggling with that. Documentations also, we are a bit behind in documentation, and we try to cope. There is more coordination needed, and also one thing we have seen is that technical debt is really something that can hinder contribution, so we are trying to work on that, but that's not easy because there is a lot to do. And one goal of Open Food Facts now is also to be more global. We have a lot of products in a lot of countries, as you can see on the map, but we don't have yet self-sustaining local communities, and we would like to have this. And also we would like to decentralize more. Right now, Open Food Facts is led by the French association, by the French, but we would like to have more entities maybe around Open Food Facts. One thing also is to measure impact so that you can prove your value. So we have a lot of scientific articles, and it's really growing fast, the number of scientific articles based on our sitting Open Food Facts. And we have a lot of visitors each month on our website, on our mobile app. But action metrics are easy. It's harder to have real impact metrics, how you transform lives, how you transform the society. So you can see with the Nutri-Score, we have a real good impact because we can see that really the scores are, producers are producing better Nutri-Scored food over the year. But we are not alone in promoting Nutri-Score, and that's cool. We are. And yeah, when you grow, you want to address more. So how do you go? Do you go horizontal by addressing more product type, for example? Or do you go vertical to have more data on products, to have better detection of allergens, for example, or that kind of things? And also there is the question, what should we do or let do to reusers? In the sense that when we do Open Food Facts Day, we also invite reusers. We talk a lot with them, and we are happy that they take their share and their specific way of their specific, how you say, subject on food. But yeah, we have to find the right balance in that. And so the big deal, as always, is also money. So how do we find a common? Because there is no, when this morning someone was telling about having a foundation so that the project is sustainable. But I think some projects by nature are not sustainable because at Open Food Facts, for example, we don't want to make people pay for data or that kind of thing. So we prefer to be unbalanced, but to be a real common. And we see over the year that it's harder to fund the common in the sense that there is all those things. When you find fundings, most of the time it's for new projects or for extensions of existing projects. People want to have new features, to have a lot of stars in the A's. But we need to fund the commons. That is nurturing the community, continue growing the database, fixing bugs, technical depth also, handling it, following specific inspiration of the project, because those are the specific inspiration, those are the ones that create the future of Open Food Facts. Yeah, and also there is this question of how to balance sources of funding between public. We have a database that helps a lot for health, so we kind of imagine that public institutions might be interested in funding the project. The general public, of course, but it's something very slow to grow, the fundings from the general public. And private, maybe, because we are a citizen project, so maybe private fundings are good also to have a balance. And this choice of securing data acquisition also is important to us. So that's why we have done a new mobile app, and that we want to have a place between mobile apps, because we need to secure our crowdsourcing. We need to reach a large public to have a large crowdsourcing. And in that, we have to balance the competition with free users to be able to find win-win collaborations. So let's join us if you want. There are a lot of ways you can join. It's not exhaustive list. And also, as I'm talking to some companies, I want to say that we are very open to what is called in France, I don't remember now, sponsoring by workforce. So we are very open to that also. So yeah, I'll be happy to. Thank you.